All right. We are going to be looking at the second semi-finals of the DreamHack Masters Last Chance tournament. And I'm bloody excited because these players are so sick, and I cannot wait to see what they've got in store for us. Down here in the bottom left, the blue Protoss player. It is none other than Trap. Recently of Jin Air Green Wings. Unfortunately, they did disband all of their esports teams. Obviously, Jin Air is the domestic branch of Korean Air, and airline's not having the best couple of years at the moment. So unfortunate to see that team go bye-bye. But this player, he's been leading the charge with Protoss and really kicking butt. And honestly, he looks fragile sometimes when he plays, but he pulls off some of the most godlike Alpha Star style micro sometimes. It's super cool. Now, his opponent in the top right, the young Frenchman who's recently ascended in the past 6 months to become one of the very top dogs of Europe. He's able to beat Raynor and Serral, and he's really put himself in that upper echelon of a player who belongs up there. He's only had limited success against Korean opposition so far, though. He started to take down some of the big names in series, but I wouldn't say he's super consistent at it. So to find himself here in the semifinals is super sick. This is none other than the young Clem. So let's get out of here, Probe. It's going to be a Reaper expand for Clem to start things off. So a rather generic opening. And as is the current meta, he's going to go and send an SCV scout across the map really late. I like that he brought an extra SCV down. And look at this timing. He comes in just as Clem hits 400 minerals and blocks him from putting the command center down there. Trap manages to delay that by a solid 5 seconds. Well done. That probe there, hiding in the back, coming in right just before 1 minute 40. Perfectly timed. Nothing worse than going in there and blocking it before the Terran doesn't even has the minerals. That's a problem a lot of Protoss players make. And because of that, they end up taking all of their hit points off before the Terran is even ready to put the command center down. They have to pull out. Terran command center goes down with 0 delay. So that's why you got to know 1 minute 40 is when that command center goes down if it's barracks into gas. And interestingly, a second barracks for Clem. He's going to play what looks like a 2-1-1. He might even go for the 3 racks, actually. Because that's reactor straight away. Yeah, this is... Ooh. Oh, I'm excited. He's building a bunker here. So he's going to get a bunker for some safety. And of course, he did scout that there was a Nexus on the way. This Reaper is checking everywhere for probes, for proxies. Oh, and that probe there. Is he going to find it? He is. Okay, he knows that Trap likes to come back in with that probe and scout what's going on. So the Reaper does snag that. The Adept at home looking to deny scouting on the high ground. Another one's going to pop at the natural. So both of them playing the information denial game as Trap goes Twilight into a very quick robo. So this could be a 2-gate blink. It could be a Dark Shrine DT drop. A few different options available. Does need a second gateway to get a bit more production up. And third barracks indeed, old school. Guys, I learned this build off Clem from his performance at WCS Austin 2018, and it was my favorite TvP build for a long time. Ooh, Clem does barely get that out of there. So the way this build works, and it's really good that he's hidden it. Trap has no idea it's coming. Trap is indeed going Dark Shrine. He's going to go for the DT drop. Basically, this hits a super powerful timing very early on. Now, because he's got to get the early bunker, which he used to love skipping with this build, because Protoss are being more aggressive, he didn't want to open himself up to just taking big damage to adept pressure. He doesn't have the engineering base, so it's a more modern version. But what it does is it gets Marauders really early. So he used to do this where +1 attack would line up with the build, but instead he's getting Marauders 2 at a time. So he's going to do a 4 Marauder, maybe 10 Marine stim timing. It's going to hit about 5 minutes. It's going to be really hard for Trap to defend. At the same time, though, okay, he does start an engineering bay. I was going to say, if he doesn't have an engineering bay, he's just dead. The problem is, because that hits so late, I think the DTs are going to warp in his base, like, as he's leaving. Oh, that's really bad. This could just be a build order win for Trap. Oh, this is... At the same time, these guys could stim in and kill everything. There's not even a shield battery. And keep in mind, Trap has got 1 Stalker, two Adepts, 1 Stalker. This is the greediest opening of all time. If a Widow Mine drop or a Hellion drop came in right now, he'd take massive damage, but... Oh, he even sees the bio leaving and he just runs his DTs in. Now, there's 2 gateways at the front. He quickly tries to drop extra pylons. He tries to wall his base in, realizing he's just got to buy time. That 1 gateway in the main should survive. So basically, oh, the DTs come in. 1 in the natural, 2 in the main. Clem, he's got scan available. But, oh, it's nasty because of the prism. He doesn't want to use it. He's got to use it, though. Okay, DT warped in at home, and look at that. A DT warped in there. Oh, this is a disaster for Clem. He's got a scan. Oh, he finally does that. DT already killed like 7 Marines, man. It one-shot those Marines. That Marauder finally kills the DTs, but he's already down to 18 workers. He does take out another unit there. I think it was another DT, but another one, or a Zealot actually, in fact, is warping in. Trap's very low on gas right now. Doesn't matter. His gateway units are going to clean this up. Even though he loses all of his gateway units, the DTs have done magnificent damage. Another scan does take out that DT, but look at that. Depot's going to burn down. Single Marine and Marauder are like, we've got to do more damage, man. This isn't enough, but the Zealots and the Immortal, they shut that one down, and yeah, this is just such bad lineup of builds here for Clem vs. Trap, and hey, Trap going for a bit of a risky opening game one, and it turns out beautifully. Oh, he saves the Dark Templar, kills a Marauder, baits a scan, gets it out, doesn't even take any damage on the Prism. Holy crap, Trap, you are a dangerous, dangerous boy in this matchup. Only 42 energy on this command center. It's a long time till scan's ready. Clem's looking pretty dead right now because remember, the DTs are stopping him from making mules. Trap's taking a third base behind this. Trap does have an Immortal, a Zealot, and a Depth. So not many units at home, no real upgrades on the way, but look at that. No turret on the natural. DT's hitting every area at once. That DT in the main might go down, but look at it. He runs it out of turret range. Clem's done. Oh, a brutal game one there, man. Man, imagine if Clem happened to see the Prism with his move out. Dude, if his units were just a little bit to the left. I mean, we don't need to rewind this game to analyze that. Let's go back one more time. It was about four. Yeah, look at this. If he saw that Prism, even if he doesn't kill it, if Trap reacts, pulls it away, you know, oh god, what the hell is this? And immediately, that's such a fast Prism. You haven't seen any Stalkers with it or anything. You're thinking about Darkshrine. You're probably just going to pull your units home. You're going to use them to defend your mineral lines, drop a turret in each base. And if you even have a 10-second warning here or a 15-second warning, it's fine. You're in a totally awesome spot as long as you don't take critical damage. But going across the map and Trap getting vision of his units so he's mentally prepared. Because if Trap didn't know those units were moving out, right, until his DTs walk in, Trap wouldn't have had the wall off, he wouldn't have had the extra pylons, and he wouldn't have been chrono boosting the gateway. Because of that, remember, if he got in there, Clem, without Trap knowing, he at least could have depowered 2 gateways. Trap would have only had 1 gateway production. The Bio would have depowered and ran in and started killing shit. The Immortal never would have built. It's a totally different game. He doesn't lose 6 Marines to DTs. This was a perfect lineup of Trap, and I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but the fact that his Prism was warping in a position where it could see the move out, beautiful play by Trap, and gets a nice, easy game 1 victory. All right. It is time for the second map, and let's see if he can bring it back. A rough start, man. That was not a good way to start things off, but it happens. It sometimes, that's just how the cookie crumbles. Up here in the top left, it is Team Liquid's Clem. I really think, especially if you're not expecting, if you're expecting a blink opening, that opening was perfect from Clem. I think if you're expecting a blink opening, because they're not going to scout you too early, but you're hoping for it not to be an early Phoenix scout, and definitely not that DT drop. Just caught off guard. Good risky opening for game 1 is going to go for a low ground wall off here in map 2. It's Trap. Now, this makes me think we're going to see a Zealot potentially rallied across this map early. Definitely going to maybe look for like a quick shield battery up in the main mineral line and Chrono and Adept across. So he's going to look to cause a bit of damage in the early game. Otherwise, I just don't know why you'd bother with the low ground wall off. And may indeed... He's already going to a proxy location. Is he there? Maybe not. Looks like he's going for a scout. Clem here, of course, going for a very standard barracks into gas opening. And as I said, Terran players are scouting really late. So one of the weak points I've identified in the current TvP meta, because they scout only usually to check that the opponent expanded, they just go in, look for a Nexus, come back. It's so late that I actually think the old stats proxy gateway, where you build a gateway proxied in their third and just chrono some Stalkers in and stuff, I think that build has immense power right now. Because the Terrans are scouting so damned late, they're already committing to the command center by the time that SCV scouts. And once again, a lovely block here by Trap delays that by about 5 seconds. So the Terran always will commit to a bunker on the low ground. So if you say had already got a Zealot out and you were rallying it across the map, avoid the SCV with the Zealot. You then pop out a Stalker from here, a Stalker from here. I kind of feel like Terran players are a little bit of a weak setup. Something I definitely need to ask the top Terran and Protoss players about, because I feel like all the Terran players are doing this scout timing at the moment. Not many are proxy raxing, and those proxy gate builds, man, I just think they're so sick in that scenario. Even against proxy racks, proxy gate's amazing. Their barracks is on the wrong side of the map, and it can work out, but that is not the case in this game, and it is indeed the shield battery and the mineral line, as I expected. So it's just a quick adept coming across. No bunker. Oh, Clem's trying to be a greedy boy. Now, that Marine will keep the SCV alive, but that command center will not finish. Trap is too tight. There is a second shade immediately, and basically Clem... Oh, he's sending the second SCV preemptively. Oh, don't want to lose both of those. Okay, he's just going to lose one. But basically, he needs to start a third depot immediately in his mineral line. Depot. Clem, you need that depot. Oh, he's not going to go for it because he's actually done a swap. So I was not expecting the swap. He's proxying a starport for a counter. And he's actually just going to say, no, my Hellions will push back the Adepts. It's all good. But there's a second Adept here, man. 2 Adepts can do a lot of damage to Hellions, and you don't want that as the Terran player. You also don't want to lose that SCV, but a bit too slow to pull it back. Nice play. Trap even splitting their attacks up, not wasting 2 attacks on the SCV. Changes targets there. Great micro by Trap. No, he doesn't want to lose this Adept, so I'm kind of a little upset for Trap that he didn't shade that one out. Oh, he loses the Hellion, though. Clem gets a bit too greedy and does lose that. Good trades here for Trap. So 2 Adepts there to delay the command center significantly, gets a Hellion, gets a Marine, slows everything down. But that does mean he's very light on gateway units. Remember, he's only on 1 gate. He's only got 1 Adept at home. Hellions are being built. Oh, they were being built 2 at a time, but looks like we're going to see the barracks swap back onto the reactor. And that means we've got a Oracle out, popping on the map when there is 1 Marine on the map. Ooh, he needs to build more Marines right now. He's quickly building a Cyclone, so that's a good swap over. A Cyclone and Marines will keep him safe against the Stargate follow-up. You see a 2 Adept pressure like that, it's rarely going to be a blink opening after that. It's very common for it to be Stargate, so it's very correct for him to read that he needs to be safe. And a forward pylon for Trap. He's thinking about a 3-gate attack follow-up on the ground. Hellion drop comes in, though. Already gets 2 probes. The Phoenix is going to be really powerful against this. And, ooh, he picks up to avoid the Oracle. Don't drop on it. No. Oh, Clem. Oh, he gets some good shots off. That was worth it. That was well worth it. That Hellion there. Can he get one more? Ooh, not quite. He's threatening the drop in the main. Now he has to leave. The Phoenix will take him out. But he can easily get those Hellions out of there. Or at least one of them. Ooh, unload. So 1 Hellion should be able to get home safely. Not bad damage there. I think 7 workers. He floats the starport home. I'm kind of sad there's not a Liberator, because I kind of love in this scenario a Liberator just waiting, and then you go, oh, the Phoenix are on my side of the map. Imagine if a Liberator queued in right now. That would be tough. Now we've got Adepts warping in there. It's going to be an Adept Phoenix timing attack. Cyclone gets some good damage on that Phoenix. Oracle's out of juice. I don't think you can do an Adept attack just yet, but I think he's going to warp in 1 more round of Adepts and then go. In fact, Clem is the one being aggressive with 2 Cyclones and a pack of Marines. Ooh, Trap sees it, though. Is Trap going to backstab? He's going to try and kill SCVs and then recall. Trap! He's just got enough energy for recall. Oh, he's double dipping. He's trying to F up Clem's economy and then recall and defend. No! Clem, you can't fight that many Adepts with SCVs. That's a terrible decision. Clem with an insane decision to fight the Adepts with the SCVs. Now, they do recall, so I guess he realized if he could damage them enough, maybe, just maybe, but I don't know if this is going to work, dude. That's 9 Adepts. Clem needs to leave. I think he was okay with that early damage, but now he's going to lose all these units. Double lock on with the Cyclones, but the Phoenix take them out. And that Oracle there, oh, it survives on red hit points. Everything goes down for Clem. Trap is all over this early game, escalating the aggression. Clem thought Trap would be the one building a quick third Nexus and trying to probe back up, but it was actually Trap looking for a counter swing that put him in the perfect situation. Did a lot of damage to the economy, got home, crushed the army. There's no stim, there's no shields. It's just a pack of unupgraded Marines. Clem's needs to pull the Drilly Boys into the fight. The turret will help out. Oh, that turret will finish, but he's already lost almost all of his Marines. SCVs versus Adepts, it's an awkward trade. He does have an economy lead in terms of workers, does Clem? He's got to shut this one down. Okay, he does hold on now. That Adept does get 1 more SCV before leaving. Behind this, the Forge and the Twilight are on the way. The Phoenix are going to control the skies. And we're going to see Trap chrono probes to that third. His Phoenix will keep picking off SCVs, and he's just going to explode in gateways in the main. So this gives complete control to Trap, because there's no answer to the Phoenix. It's just a few Marines and a Cyclone. So even though the economy looks okay right now, the lack of a third command center, the lack of an answer to the Phoenix, means it's a disastrous situation for Clem, where he's waiting for Stim, he's waiting for Medivacs, he's going 5 racks on 2 base, so he's kind of already locked into essentially a 2 base all-in. And even though Trap hasn't seen it, Trap has a very simple solution to the situation he's in, and that is, as I said, just mass gateways. In this case, it's going to be Adepts, which is interesting. Rather than going for the Charge Zealots I expected, he's just going to try and shade on top of the army. He's forgetting to start his +1 attack upgrade. +1 attack is very important for Adepts, because if you look at an Adept, it does 22 damage a shot. Now, a Marine has 45 hit points. Even when Combat Shields finishes, if they use a Stim, 45 hit points. 22 times 2 is 44. You want to be doing 23 times 2 damage. So you want those Adepts to be doing... And is it even +2 maybe? Does it go up to 24? Either way, it's going to take you to 2-shotting rather than 3-shotting those Marines is the important part of the equation. Phoenix are coming in. Wow! That was an aggressive move. Does get a few Marines, but does not get the Cyclone. It's a lot of bio coming forward, but Stasis Traps ready. Adepts and Sentries getting ready. The Oracle tagging the army. Trap sees everything as it moves out, and Clem here is just building Marines. Doesn't even have add-ons on some of these barracks. He's waiting for Stim, shields, and +1 armor. Bio's done a lot in the past. Can it do it again? He's trying to make charges, Trap. What's Trap's gateway count? He does have 9 gateways. I feel like he should have a few more units than this. Oh, what's that? Oh, he's split Adepts across the map. Okay, he's going to intercept the rally point. He's just looking to buy time here. Ah, looks like his Oracle did get sniped by the Cyclones. The Adepts come in, though. They're going to get a Siege Tank. Wow. Yeah, these Adepts are killing it. Taking out Marines. They're going to go for the SCVs as well. I mean, it was already an all-in attack for Clem, but now it's even more desperate. Buys time here. So he cleans that up. Trap here looking to ambush the army on the map as well. Shields is still 20 seconds away. I don't know if Trap can fight before that, though. Oh, I guess he's looking for a force field ambush. If he pulls back, lets him through a bit. Pull back, Trap, pull back. Trap could pull off the sickest trap ever. Trap could pull off the trap. Wow. Wow! Of course, that's a sight blocker. For those who don't know, you can't see through that unless you have flying units or you move through it. More tanks, more bio, more libs. There's no splash damage yet for Trap. But he does have Guardian Shield. His +1 armor starting up. He's already got +1 attack. And he's got a Templar Archives now, which means Archons, potentially Psystorm. A few Psystorms will just destroy this army. I think Clem's got to go right now. He's going to miss his timing, man. Clem is waiting for such a big army. I think he's got to pull some boys into this as well. Anything to buy time. The Phoenix are just going to pick up the tanks and pick off the libs so easily in this fight when it happens. Ooh, okay. Archon's being added in now. A second Forge is even on the way. He's taking a 4th base is Trap. Trap's just got to focus on army, though. If he can just get enough units and take the right fight, he's still got this. Clem is just hoping for that one angle where he can kite down these units, where he can blast the Phoenix out of the skies, but the number of sentries scares the crap out of me. Now, I feel like he catches a glimpse of it. He's going to broadside it. He's got to go now if he wants to catch him unsieged. He's going to go for it. He's going for it. He's going to dive. Dive, 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 dive. Guardian Shield is activated. The Phoenix is picking up the siege tanks, taking him out. The Adepts on the north. It's the Zealots, the Guardian Shield, and the Archons on the south. And that is an obliterating engagement for Trap there, who just gets in control. And dude, that decision there was so sick with the Adepts. It's about 5 minutes. Realizing he could use recall to double dip. This is a situation where you've both built a lot of units, and it's kind of hard to win out if you're the aggressor. So I really thought Trap would just go home when he saw that, but then I realized that he's so high level. He said, no, you're not at my base yet. Shades in with these units. I do think Clem should have just evacuated the SCVs, because he's got to recall them either way. I think just evacuate the SCVs. I think this was a bad decision by Clem, but either way, it was going to be damage, and then he was just going to go, okay, you're at my base. Shit, recall, recall, recall. He recalls them up into his main base and brings them down. And even though he loses a couple pylons, who cares? That's so many Adepts shading in. Even these ones from the main, it's a little bit far behind. But look at that. The Marines go down to the Oracle Adept almost instantly. Unupgraded Marines, no match for Oracle Adept. Phoenix pick up the Cyclones. From there, Trap was large and in charge in this game. All right. And it's time for game 3. And this man is looking like he's heading for a clean sweep. Dominant, aggressive early games, looking to find those weak points, those chinks in the Terran armor. Upper in the top left, it is none other than Trap. Very decisive. Thinking of putting that pylon behind the third base in that other game. A big important bit in allowing him to capitalize on the weakness. Now, ooh, it's a change-up down here in the bottom right for Liquid Clem. It's a gas-first opening. Going to be going for some very quick tick. Now, it's a proxy barracks gas first. Wow. Oh, this is fascinating. I have not seen a proxy barracks gas first in a while. Normally, gas first is more common with an eBay block. Oh, you know what? He could use this SCV to eBay block? No, there's no way he'd get there in time. Huh. Is it a single... It's still an expand build. Oh! Does he fake the second gas, though? Surely Trap will scout that he's only one gas. This is interesting. So one of the things is, as a Protoss player, you come in here as Trap, and what you're looking for is, oh, you don't have a barracks here. Oh, shit. And the first thing you check is the gases. Because if you see only one gas, it's one of two things. It's a proxy marauder, or it's just an expand build. He's just built his barracks somewhere. Maybe to do a bit of Reaper harass, maybe to trick you out a little bit, and maybe the barracks is just hidden in the corner of the main or down here, and it's a totally normal expand. And in this case, it is going to be Proxy Factory, so he goes Marine Factory. So, okay, he's still going to have the ability to do a drop. And he comes back in and sees the second gas, and that says, okay, no command center then. There's definitely something wildly aggressive coming. The reaction, a quick second pylon, even a third pylon. He chooses not to go for a Nexus. He's built the Zealot. I'm surprised he's not getting an extra gateway or anything like that just yet. I think he's very confused about what's happening. He's kind of like, what is this build order? Such a unique mix. So a single Marine came out. That's going to come home and kill the probe. Behind that, Reactor is building on the barracks. So it's still going to be very quick double Hellion. And that second gas opens up a few potential opportunities. It's not going to be the quickest, most brutal, like, tank medevac push of all time. Starport at home. Wow, okay, so Clem's bringing out a really unique opening here, and the Zealot's going to go across the map with a Stalker, forage for information. A second Stalker's on the way, as is a Nexus and a second gas. So Trap is trying to go back to a normal game here, but these Hellions, if they drive past and get in his base, he's in huge trouble. So I kind of wish he built the gateway there just so he could fully wall with like a single structure. Gets 3 guys on the other gas. The second gate for the Stalkers, Trap is a big fan of 2-gate Stalker and just having non-stop Stalker production whenever the Terran does a 1-base opening. I'm a big fan of it as well. Very few Protoss players opt for this. Most of them like to still go for Twilight or Stargate or Robo and get out those fancy units. But Trap here, I think the one thing he's missed is he hasn't found the proxy. I think when you do this response, you need to confirm what they're doing. And he's not been able to do that. He just hasn't checked that right side of the map at all. So great proxy positioning here by Clem. There's now a medevac on the way. Only one Marine behind the wall. So actually, if the Stalker decided to attack the wall, Clem would have been in trouble. That being said, it wouldn't do damage as fast as a Hellion run by will. Now, those Stalkers need to body block. They cannot let them up the ramp. You got to body block. You got to body block. Trap. Oh, he just barely gets the block down. Loses 3 probes, but gets a Hellion kill. I think that's acceptable for now. But here comes the medevac drop. And the reason this is so dangerous is, remember, those Widow mines were building 2 at a time. That's why these mines got out so quickly. And the armory's done. With no detection out, Trap will not be able to see those mines until an observer pops. He's not ready just yet. Let's go to Trap's camera. Does he anticipate? He's trying to do a Stalker counter pressure right now. Oh, he's looking. He's looking here. Stalker's a little bit slow to focus fire, though. He's warping in more Stalkers on the front, even in the midst of the action. Tries to pull some probes back to take those Widow mine hits. Well microed. Immediately back to mining. He's trying to push the ramp at the same time. The Stalker's coming. The Hellion's looking to add a bit of damage here, but I think he's defending fantastically so far. His Zealot Stalker breaking down the wall. Oh, he does lose a few probes. Clem's micro. Oh, he was not expecting this to last so long. That Hellion harassment getting way more damage than he thought it would. We're still on Trap's camera, keep in mind. Watching how he handles this situation. His Stalkers are broken in, though, and that could just be a game winner. Stalkers in the base. I mean, if the SCVs can surround it, it'll be good, but there's just no firepower behind them. What is that? 4 Marines? Oh, 1 SCV came in from behind. If only he was able to start a building, maybe he could have done it. The Marines are going to push those Stalkers off the high ground. There we go. Using that high ground advantage, Trap has to back off. Let's go back to everyone's camera and take stock. Good counter damage there. 7 SCVs dying to 12 probes in this game. The command center is almost up. There's a tank out now that creates a bit of safety. That reactor will be exposed, so it could get sniped, but Trap doesn't know about it. And the first observer is going to go across the map. Second observer will stay at home in case there's follow-up drops. Now straight into a Twilight and a Forge. So Trap probably going to be going for Blink from here, but he might feel threatened enough to go straight charge. 31 probes to 23. Definitely a worker advantage for Trap. The thing is, if he can just kind of stabilize a little bit and get another minute or so to probe up, he'll be good. Clem realizes that, though, and he's not investing in infrastructure right now. It's Vikings, tanks, Marines. This is a hard push. A Liberator queues up behind that. Clem is going to do a very aggressive push. I'd love to see him scan that observer as it comes in, but I think Trap's going to get the info on this. And I think with a quick charge, he can take this push down. Indeed, charge already does start up. Trap realizes there's a high chance of follow-up aggression. You see just one barracks, one factory, one starport. You see multiple tanks, lots of Marines. This all speaks of a big follow-up attack. Now, trying to get up his gases. Is that too greedy for Trap? I think he needs gateways more than anything. He's only got 2 gateways. He's adding a Templar Archives. He wants to get Archons out to hold this push, but there's no way. He's got to cancel these gases, this Templar Archives, and just get gateways. I think he needs them. The pylon's there. He could build a shield battery there or one on the high ground. His Stalkers are going to try and slow this push down. They can definitely micro against this a bit, though the speed zones make it a little awkward. See if he can grab a Viking, maybe. Oh, he's looking for this army. He's like, oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? He's splitting his Stalkers up. He's got to find it. Trap's not really getting any free damage on this. Clem comes forward. Quick micro there. And those Stalkers not really able to do much just yet. There's 2 shield batteries building, but he's delayed starting them for quite a while. Charge is not quite finished yet. The first Immortal's down, and Archon will be ready. An Archon and an Immortal, very good units at clearing this sort of army. That Liberator is very dangerous, though. Oh, that Immortal, not quite in range of the tank. Nicely done here by Clem. Those tanks are in a safe position. He's going to inch 2 of those forwards. The Vikings are landing here. Now, there's going to be a shield battery overcharge available, but no, he's out of energy. No overcharge for Trap, so even if he engages, he needs to wait for another 13 energy on his main Nexus before he can overcharge that battery, and that battery is already running dry. He loses a gateway there. There's only 3 gateway production at this stage. Oh, big tank volley on the Immortal. And the shield battery goes down. No overcharge available, even though he's got the Nexus energy. The Templar Archive is going to go down. 2 Immortals, an Archon, a few Zealots. The tanks and the Lib looking good. And their units are going to come on in, but it's too early. Trap's flank is not ready. They finally do come in there, but a little bit late to the party. 1 Immortal goes down. Can the other Immortal go down? I think it can. He's got to move that Liberator. It's not taking part. The Immortal went down. Nicely done there by Clem. But that's the end of it. Not going to find any extra damage. And it looks like that Liberator will be able to get out for now. But no, it goes down as well. Ooh, no economic damage. Cleanses the army, does Clem? Clears out Trap's force. Is it enough? Economically, yes. He's even in economy now in terms of workers, but with mules, that puts him ahead. He's got 3 barracks going, stims done, shields and +1 attacks done. He's got some tanks, some Marines, medevacs building 2 at a time. Third command center goes down at a similar time to the Nexus. That bodes well for you as a Terran player. Trap's going to have to dig deep, use things like this Warp Prism drop to try and fight back in this game. Probes will be able to transfer down. Really needs that 3rd mineral line up. Clem at this stage, let's go to his vision. Let's look at Clem's camera. Yeah, he's setting up for another push. He's got a 4th and 5th barracks on the way. He's going to start pushing out. That Zealot drop could actually be really big. That's going to come in just when he's on his way across the map again. Let's go to everyone's camera. Here it comes. Finds the main base undefended. Clem a little slow to react. Does not have much at home. He's got to run those SCVs out of there. Try and use the units that are popping out, as well as that 2 Marines and Marauder. Good reaction from Clem. Has only lost a couple of SCVs. A lot of them bruised. I think he should just keep those SCVs away. Ooh, but actually he could drop that 3rd base. Meanwhile, at home, though, he's got almost nothing. Clem's force is just pushing forward. The force field's by a moment, but only a moment. Oh, the command center has to get cancelled, though. Trap here, buying time for himself really well. And he's got Psystorm finishing in just a moment. Wow, I really felt like Clem was in such an advantage. But just the fact that Trap forces them to trade expansions is actually really powerful. He slows down the push. He slows down Clem using that army advantage. And don't get me wrong, Clem's still in a great position, but if he can get that Prism back, put a High Templar in it, add a Storm Drop to this, I think with good Storm Drop charge lot engagement, there's always a chance of taking down a Biotank force. Trap's being forced to take that third. I kind of wish he squeezed a fourth in at the same time. He does have 5 High Templar now, so a fair bit of Storm. He's leaving some in the main. I think he's expecting to potentially get Doom dropped in there. But it's actually a Widowmine drop around the back. Uh-oh. Oh, no warning till they fire. Oh, no, that Widowmine is going to get a big one. Oh, 7 probes, 1 in the main as well. And doesn't quite fire, but that's totally fine. Just burrow on burrow micro that. No probe sent to actually take that hit just yet. Medevac gets out of there. 2 Widowmines, such a cheap investment. And it looks like Trap is like, no, I'm just going to come try and kill you. He has nothing at home, man. He's trying to kill it up with an Immortal and an Observer. I think this one on the natural is going to actually fire again. Oh, he's looking for Psystorm. Trap needs big storms. He needs big storms. That Widowmine fires again. He gets another 8 probes on the natural. Another 3 probes, I should say. And does eventually get cleared up. But, ooh, a big Psystorm lands. Is it enough, though? I feel like no. The tanks! Oh, the tanks and the Bayou coming forward. Trap's army just caught out. I don't know if he accidentally rallied to the wrong spot. I think he thought the Zealots were going to pull Clem home. But Clem simply says, screw that. I'm going to take out your expensive army in the middle of the map. I don't care about losing some SCVs as long as I get rid of your army. Oh, big storm drop on the mineral line. Trap here going ham with the harassment. Does kill a lot of these SCVs. The Zealots in the main are tearing it up right now. And it's finally going to get cleaned up, but not before a good amount of damage was done. Unfortunately for Trap, though, doesn't have the economy to recover afterwards. These sort of trades are really good if that third was mining the whole time, but that third just finished. What do we got? 2 High Templar, a couple of Psystorms between them. He's going to look for a big Psystorm to start the fight. Okay, not a bad one. Immortal wants to finish off the tanks. Does take him out. The Psystorm kind of zones there. No Storm left behind that, though, and Clem realizes he's got a big army advantage. He's going to keep rotating around, looking for new angles. Another 5 seconds until Storm's ready. There will be 1 Psystorm ready for Trap. Clem's army absolutely monstrous, though. Not much of an answer for the Widowmines here, either. Clem just kind of posturing, but not really committing too much. Realizing he can just let his Medevacs heal, take his time. All the pressure is on Trap to break out here. Oh, the Widowmine's getting some nice shots. One of them bruising all the Zealots. Good trigger discipline on the Storms, though. A second Psystorm's about to be ready there. So Trap slowly getting a little bit more splash damage available. Another 9 probes goes down. You're kidding me! Oh my god, another Widowmine drop comes in. He's even got one on the third. Oh god, I didn't even catch that. What a beast. In the middle of this, he just says, okay, while you're distracted and afraid, you're not going to be able to defend a Widowmine drop correctly. The Bio spreads out and stims, takes down the High Templar. And, oh man, where is the battery overcharge? It goes down a little bit too late. Those Archons have got to stay in range of that. I mean, Trap hangs on for a moment, but it is barely a moment, as Clem is up on 3 base economy. Trap here is bleeding out. He's got a handful of units. The Bio has the mobility at this stage. The Templar Archives goes down. Clem just chilling. Feel like that Viking could queue around and just go land in the back of the main. Would probably be its best use at this point. The Observers have all been F2'd home. A few Archons and Immortals. 4 kills on that Immortal, 5 on that. The Archons, only a couple of kills each. 4, 1, 4. So none of these units really experts just yet. So that army keeps getting reset. Clem takes a 4th command center. +2 attack is getting close to finish. The Ghost Academy on the way. SCV's idling in the main. Ooh, a big mistake for Clem. Has that been since earlier in the game? I imagine so. Might not realize just how many workers he actually has. I guess they wouldn't be mining too efficiently anyway, but definitely an uncharacteristic mistake for the young Frenchman. And it looks like he's secured himself a win in this game. Another Widowmine drop comes in yet again. Takes out a Zealot, a Sentry, and looks like 3rd Widowmine, I guess, got sniped down. Scans and sees no 4th base as well. I think he feels very confident. Did he just recall an Observer? Was that a mistake? I don't know why he just recalled an... Oh, because he didn't have any detection on the map. Right. Okay, I assumed an Observer would have been coming, but they were all the way out of the map. Right, because all 3 of his Observers were on the Terran side. Fair enough. No detection available. Needs it to see those Widowmines. The power of the armory there. Blinken +1 on the way, but it's so late to be doing that. Where's the High Templar? He's got 2 High Templar. I feel like he realizes that ghosts are coming. So he knows he's not going to be able to, like, really get many Storms off. I think the answer there is to get more High Templar and just keep them spread out. But only 2? There's no way you're going to deal with this army, dude. He's going to look for Storm Drop. That's something. Medevacs see it coming, though. Ghost Marauder Marine. Not that many Marines, but a ton of meaty Marauders up front. Force fields are available. Oh, EMP comes down, knocks the shields off that Immortal. It's barrier being activated as well. Clem here says, come and fight down my ramp, buddy. You know you want to. And another big EMP clips the shields of the Archon, takes all the energy off the sentries. No Guardian shields left in this army, but Clem very respectful of the threat that prism presents. Notice he queues up 2 Vikings here. That's specifically to deal with the prism. Oh, trap! Oh my god, great storm drop. He does end up having to morph the High Templar to keep him alive, and with that many medevacs, wow, that heals up quick. So even though he got a great first storm, the Bio Ball is still able to trade somewhat with him. Doesn't want to lose that Archon. Does save that with the Warp Prism. Well played by Trap. His micro exceptional, but he's just fighting on such a hamstrung economy. He needs to pull probes out of his main down to this 3rd mineral line, and his natural massively oversaturated. He's so low on money right now. Stalker's trying to clear this up. Such a slow process here for Trap, who's still looking for those storm drops. Don't think he has much available. Ooh, drops the storm. Does save the High Templar. Okay, Clem says it's time. He's got the EMPs. He's got the Libs sieged up. Massive, massive damage coming out of those Liberators. They do get sniped down, but the Bio Ghost is here, and now all the Immortal barriers are gone. Where are the Zealots? They just don't exist. Trap does not have money. It's a handful of units. His High Templar come forward. He dodges the EMP. He does land one more big Psystorm. A heroic defense from Trap, but it really is watching a man on his last legs trying to throw some punches and getting circles run around him. So Clem's got far too much at this point. It's hard to finish off a Protoss with splash damage on the D, but he's got his own 4th up behind this. His 5th command center's ready. All Clem needs to do is trade here and just keep picking units off. And Trap trying to get into double robotics. Colossus does not make it. Battery overcharge does power up some of those units, but it runs out of time. And the Marauders are not leaving. It's a rally across the map for Clem. Look at that mini-map. Just red dots coming from all over. It's a constant stream. The medevacs are just able to sit there healing all game long. EMPs landing once again. And Clem does finally get a map on the board. Very well played here by Clem. Let's go back and just look at that opening really quickly, because such an interesting one to do a gas first proxy. So it's not nearly as expensive as going straight for double gas. And it also scares your opponent because, like I said, they think, oh, maybe it's proxy Marauder or something like that. Notice that Trap did respond. He came in here, he saw this, and he went, oh crap, I can't put a Nexus down. And rather than going Nexus, he goes 2nd pylon immediately, even a 3rd pylon. He's worried about an assault on that base. And then, you know, it was really well played by Clem here. He just says, okay, 1 Marine to deny scouting. It's very dangerous for you to push over. Even if you do with your Zealot Stalker, my Hellions will just dart into your base and do big damage. And overall, good handling by Trap to navigate all that stuff. But I feel like it just ended up with obviously Clem's first push coming forward with the tanks and so on. And Trap was a bit too greedy against it. If there's one strategic element in this map where I go, okay, they've both kind of handled each other reasonably well. Even at this point, I think Trap probably took a bit too much damage from those Widow Mines than he really wanted to, because the Hellions joined up with him. I think he's okay because Clem has committed so much to this. 31 probes to 23 is fine, but I think the problem is off the scouting read. So really, if I look at this and I go, wait, how did you lose this map as Trap? I look at it and go, you've seen a push, dude. This is so blatantly a push, and the fact that you choose to go 4 Gas Templar Archives is actually too greedy. If he went just for more gateways and chrono boosted charge and +1 armor, I think he could have defended this push a lot cleaner, a lot better. I think Archons and Immortals was too greedy of a response, and the way that siege push worked out, he just wasn't able to clear it very efficiently. It took him a long time. He lost a tech, he lost a gateway or two. He loses all of his valuable units doing it. And meanwhile, Clem is catching up on all the basics. He gets stim, he gets a 2nd and 3rd barracks behind it, an engineering bay, gets up to 4 gas. Even the Templar Archives died, see. This was a big push for Clem. And even though he finally got a Zealot flank, could have been a lot earlier, I do think. Yeah. GG, well played there. So Clem does take advantage there. A hard follow-up push. Let's go into the next map. All right. He's got to win the next 2 games in a row. He's on the comeback train. Can he do it? Playing for Team Liquid, the young Frenchman. It is Clem. Good build choice in that last game. Up here in the top left-hand side in the blue. it is none other than Trap. It's going to be going for the low ground wall off again, get the early Adept across the map. I do think that was kind of good, you know, throw a spanner in the works at Clem's opening. If you can force the Terran to build a bunker, it's very powerful, and this is a map where people also love to do that. Shield battery in the main base, off the second pylon, Adept goes straight across the map. If a Reaper runs in, you just kind of ignore it. Now, what we haven't seen from Clem too much this series is just going like, okay, Marine Reactor, right? That's become more common recently. But we'll see exactly how this goes. It really... I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of strong pushes you can do off that, but you do limit your scouting info. So if you do something like skipping the Reaper, just go Marine into Reactor, one of the big advantages is a Marine builds in 14 seconds less time than a Reaper. Reaper's 32 seconds, a Marine only 18. So you get your Reactor 14 seconds earlier, which means your first 2 Marines pop out 14 seconds earlier. So you hit that 3 Marine count where you can just fuck up an Adept really hard, really early. And that's actually really cool. So I really love those Marine into Reactor openings that have been coming out because of that. But I think you've got to be kind of clever with sneaking an SCV around to see their tech, or you've got to make some assumptions because you just don't have as good scouting information. A lot of the time, people will do that into a Hellion to come over and try to do it. And once again, Trap here with the perfect block timing right on a minute 40. As he hits 400 minerals, a healthy probe comes in and denies it. Solid 5-second delay every single time. And that's important. Why? Because remember, guys, he's going to go Shield Battery in the main, and he's going to Chrono and Adept across the map. So every second he delays the command center, makes it easier for that Adept to get over, kill the SCV, and then stop Clem. Supply block him on 31 supply, stop his units from building, stop his command center, his orbital, his SCV production continuing. And you can see it once again, Shield Battery in the main. Now, if you do this, I do prefer to put the Shield Battery closer to the middle, because this one's not actually in range of like all the way over there and there. So you might have to pull a probe back manually to it, but usually it's quite fine. And that Adept coming out, giving no fucks. It's going to go straight across the map. This probe's coming back in as well, looking if he can do a bit of denial, but bunker is going down. I don't know if that's on time, though. That bunker might be a little late, but the Adept actually does waste a little bit of time, valuable seconds chasing after that. I think seeing the bunker, maybe Trap doesn't care too much. He says, okay, I'll see if I can get damage done, but it's actually unlikely I'll be able to get a lot. But you know what? I think if he went straight over, it could have been an easy cancel. 2 Marines out for Clem, though, so Clem just jumps on top of that Adept, says, okay, yeah, you can kill one, that's okay. The Reaper's trying to hunt down the Adept to get a bit more damage. You can't actually beat it, though, unless you have the most godlike micro. So the Reaper's got to piss off there. And that is 2 Adepts at the front. Behind this, a Twilight and a Robo. Trap's really good at putting the pressure on, denying information from the Terran, that sort of stuff. And then, you know, he's going to use these Adepts to pressure and then surprise him behind it with what does look like a DT opening again, to be honest. Oh, he's Adepts, man. That bunker's really far away. I really wish he put the bunker over to the right a little more. So not a great situation here for Clem. I feel like he's losing out off this openings and pulling probes back to the safety of the battery. Well done by Trap. Hasn't really taken any significant damage. Finally, the Reaper gets in and denies mining, you know, answering the power of Trap. But, oh, Trap, 2 Adepts looking great. Good micro by Clem, though, keeping all of his Marines alive. His Reaper survives. He sees the Robo finishing. That timing on the Robo tells him it's a Twilight first. Now, he might hang out in the main. Oh, look at that. He showed himself going into the fog, so Trap assumes he's jumped down, but he's waiting in the main to come back in for a full scout a bit later. Clever movement by Clem. Feints one way, goes the other. He's gone a Cyclone early on, which is good for safety around your base, but you don't normally want that unless you're up against Stargate. And now the Reaper comes in, sees the Twilight, and he's going to try to still get out of there. I think he should be able to leave. Oh, nicely done. Reaper survives to fight another day. And it is a 4-gate blink opening, guys. So very aggressive opening from Trap. He's probably going to... Oh. Nope. Maybe because he was scouted, he says, okay, let's not actually lean into the aggression. And let's make sure he can't see that I've actually changed my mind. Wow, look at that. So Clem sees a bunch of gateways, and he sees that he's going for... Yeah. Oh, he actually cancelled a gateway as well. So he even cancelled a gateway, I believe. And instead he goes 3rd base, Robo Bay, 4 gases. So Trap is saying, look, I'm pretty sure you thought I was going to be super aggressive. You're probably going to play quite safe. Look at that tank positioning, the Cyclone on the edge, the bunker. You're going to camp it up for a while. And I'm actually going straight to the next step. So a good mind game there, playing around the information that Clem has. Both players really trying to plated the perceptions and not give too much away. The Observer does see the third command center. It sees the second and third barracks have now swapped over. So he knows he's got a lot of time. Double Forge goes down. Trap says, look, let's get Charge, Colossus, Double Forge, and just chrono probes out on these 3 bases. He really should be chronoing probes with the amount of tech and upgrades that he's investing in. But he might just save it all for the upgrades and the Colossus. Fair enough. So the problem is for Clem that he doesn't have as much information, but he feels safe. He's got bio, he's got tanks. He's going to move out there. 4th and 5th barracks on the way. His +1 upgrade starts very late. I feel like with this late an upgrade, you do want to get a second engineering base soon after. Just depends how all-in Clem wants to go. Some players will really just try to do a 3-base all-in. They'll saturate the minerals, never the gases, never get a second engineering bay. And it's basically just a 3-base, Jesus, I can't speak. It's a 3-base mass bio tank push that is a huge onslaught to stop. And as a Protoss to stop that, you kind of need to realize that the Terran's not taking gases on their third, realize that they're not really adding a second starport very early, extra factories or anything like that. Clem, though, does get a second starport in here, so he will be dropping a gas, getting some Vikings out. He scans. He'd love to see the unit composition. I think he can assume it's Colossus, because that's kind of the default mode for most Protoss players at the moment. But he did at least see that the third was mostly saturated. As soon as the scan wears off, Trap drops the gases. As the Terran player, when you're wondering if you should push or not, and he's even building a safety bunker, often what you'll do is you'll scout that third, and if there's no gas there, you know there's no reason to push, because the Protoss isn't really going up in the tech. So I like the way that Trap only took it after the scouting. These Marines try to get across. One will get over there for a little bit. And that Double Forge. Templar Archives to add Archons to this. And it looks like he's going to secure the top base. No, he's going to go for the center. I do prefer this base myself. Oh, Clem's building another bunker. So Clem is one of the best players for scanning in this matchup constantly and reacting to what he sees. But I think seeing that probe there, I think he should be selling those bunkers. Like, he can assume there's a 4th Nexus about to go down. I do think Clem's playing a little too safe. Drops his own 4th command center. Wise play from the Frenchman. +1 weapons finishes for him, but I think a double engineering bay. If you're playing 4-base on single upgrades, that's no good. Clem, you really need to get the second upgrade going. I mean, you can do a lot with Biotank on 3-base, but I really feel that at this stage, he's got to expand his upgrades and add a Ghost Academy. If you're playing this deep into the game, you absolutely better do that. Now, did he cancel his second starport? Was his starport that late from the early game? Am I actually so nonsensical that I didn't even realize that was his... Oh, that was his first starport. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. I'll rewind this game and show you guys. It was such a quick third CC that he actually delayed the starport. Oh, never mind me, guys. I'm such a simpleton sometimes. I mean, there's simps who are sucking up to people and wanting their affection on the internet. I'm a classic simp. I'm a medieval simp. You know, I'm literally just a simpleton sometimes who doesn't pay attention to the build orders. That was an interesting build. So that's why Clem had such a big ground army and was playing so careful. He didn't have any mobility to be harassing. Oh, this is bad for Clem. This is bad. He's going to stim out of there. And he takes out one Stalker. Doesn't lose the Metavacs, thankfully. But he's playing a mega macro biotank style. Ghosts are now coming out. Actually, that's only one ghost that he queued up. He really needs to queue up more ghosts. If he's under the impression, normally you queue 3 ghosts. There we go. He queues up 2 more now. You need 3 ghosts to get a good amount of EMPs going. The armory is on the way, as well as the second engineering bay finished there. Clem's playing mega late game. He's going to play a real slow game. I don't think this is a good way to play against Protoss. Because I think if they get to Mass Disruptor Blink DT, I think you were just in a worse position. Look at this Speed Prism out positioning him. Ooh, nice force field. Shaves off some Marauders. Zealot drop in the main base. There's a Cyclone and some Marines there, so maybe. Oh, he doesn't lock onto the Prism. Oh no. Okay, that's going to be a lot of Zealots in the main base. He's posturing at the front as well. And the tanks should cover it. Tanks do cover that 4th base. Prism goes down. These Zealots are going to recall. Oh, Trap. Look at that efficiency. Looks for the recall. Well done. Clem does defend his base as he survives, but this is Trap's call to take a 5th, take a 6th base, continue to 3-3 upgrades, and really just get into that next stage. Clem's going to actually... Wow, a sort of risky maneuver, but it could pay off big. He goes across with his bio. Oh, Clem, what the hell are you doing out here? Clem, well, no, you gotta go left. This is the wrong direction. You can't go that way, mate. Oh, man. If you go out like that, you've got to actually go and just push through their bases. If he went left, he could have cleansed through the Zealots. It would have been really hard for Trap to chase that down. Trap is actually at less supply, less army. All he's got is the upgrade advantage, but he takes 2 more bases, and now he's in massive control. Clem has been so passive in this game, and I think kind of over-responding to Trap's feints and maneuvers, and he keeps scanning, but I mean, you got to realize you're in a very long game right now. He starts +2 weapons. He still hasn't got the gas to start +2 armor, though. And look at this movement from Trap, just picking off some depots. Might be able to force a lift on this base. Tank's a little slow to respond. Clem's got to be careful. Those tanks sieging quite far back. But look at that disengage from Trap. Well done. Tanks are so far back. He's going to try and shave units off with disruptors if he can. Good spread. Good spread. He doesn't lose too many units to the disruptors. Bunker going down, though. Units lost looking good here for Trap. There's a lot of bio ghost in the middle of the map. And this is the advantage of the defensive power of tanks. You can't really break tanks with a bit of support. So he's going to push through the middle. The problem is this got spotted by an observer nice and early. EMPs do go down. Archons fall. Clicks on the battery. Takes out the Zealots. He knows the army's coming. He's got to leave now. Oh, he's left it a bit too long. So he's just going to dive deeper into this base. Oh, a great disruptor shot. He throws it sideways so he doesn't show it till it's already halfway towards firing. And Clem bites the bait, goes in, and loses a massive army. Oh my god, well done by Trap. That was a perfect disruptor shot. Now, Clem still has a big tank count, but he doesn't have much bio support. He's got to be careful. He's got a siege. If he gets jumped on, he's just dead. Clem goes way too deep. Oh man, a double disruptor shot. Okay, not too bad. The tanks survive. He clips one of the disruptors. He clips the siege tanks, but the tanks take down the second disruptor shot before it can connect. For those who don't know, if a disruptor dies before its shot actually detonates, the shot just disappears, it fizzles, does nothing. Hellion on the left side doing what it can. These tanks looking okay, but there's just a lot of units at home right now. Clem needs to get over there. A Zealot is forcing those units to the right as well. And, oh, well done, does take out a disruptor. Oh, but he's not in position to defend the tanks very well. He's just got to leave. Wow, Clem's getting routed, man. Too many of his units on the wrong side of the map, all the way at home chasing a single Zealot at his 5th base, and Clem's stutter stepping back. The supplies are still very close. Clem has an amazing economy, remember, but I think these trades have been a bit too efficient, and remember, he's just lost his leverage, his siege units, his tanks. He doesn't have any libs. It's just bio now, and the Colossus are completely unafraid. They never died all game long. The Disruptor coming forward as well. He's got 2 more balls inside that Warp Prism ready to drop out and take out Clem. And this is just a bit too much. Clem overextending multiple times in this final game. And Trap here, look at this decisive push. He says, okay, don't fight the planetary. Let's group up here. The SCVs are pulled into this. The Colossi taking it out. SCVs coming from all sides. Oh my god, the worker killed count is just obscene. And Trap there takes out the 3-1 victory. Wow. Oh my god. GG, well played. Trap going through to the grand finals. Well, let's go back and look at that game really quickly. Let's not dilly-dally. Opening build order. It was a single gas 3rd command center. It's paying so much attention to the Adepts kind of distracting and harassing him and all this sort of stuff. I never actually paid attention to the fact that this was actually 2 Marines to help defend, get in the bunker off the back of the Reaper, gets a factory with a tech lab for a Cyclone for a bit of extra safety, and a super quick 3rd command center. So a really defensive, turtling up build for Clem, but he never got momentum, and it felt like this was not really Clem's comfort zone. He was trying to play a very different style, play to the map, said, okay, it's a good map for big macro games. It's hard to do a 2-base push, even a 3-base push, but if I go up to big macro stage, we're going to be good. So look at that. Starport goes down after 5 barracks. So it's just a massive bio tank. The medevacs come down much later. Very hard to kill a player who does this because they're not investing in those support units, those harassment units off the starport. It's just raw firepower. And he even adds bunkers to that for safety. But I think what ended up happening was just a few too many times where, yeah, Clem, he wasn't quite dealing with it the way he could have. And I think that first Zealot drop was splendid because that kind of pulled Clem out of position and I think took the wind out of his sails a little bit. But I do think if Clem had I always prefer a Viking up here. I think it's much easier to cut off a Prism with Marines down here and here But likewise, having a few Marines over there, and this is something I've started doing as Zerg on this map against Protoss, because there's so much dead space on this map, they can land here, 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 anywhere along the back of the natural, or they can just fly straight past your missile turrets into the main. Look at what happens with this Prism. Even if that turret was finished, it would have got 1 or 2 shots off on it, and then you've got a Prism in your main base to worry about. So this was a really cool move by Trap, seeing if he could catch Clem unawares, off guard, gets a big Zealot warp in, loses the Prism, doesn't do a crazy amount, but he keeps most of the Zealots alive. And if Clem unsieged those tanks, or they were kind of isolated, he might have got them. And Trap here is going to the next stage. Disruptors, DTs. Remember that the upgrades are way ahead for Trap as well. So he's got 2-2 versus 1-1 for most of the engagements. And this here was just a disaster. This was such a disastrous move. For Clem to split his army off like that, I think he thought this was the front of the enemy army. He lost track of where Trap was, and this is just the situation he found himself in. Trap's the one with spotting Zealots. He's got pylons around the edges, and Adept, he sees a lot of the map, even with his observers being gone, right? Whereas Clem just doesn't have that information. Should he have had a drop or two sliding around? I think maybe something to get some map control would have been good, but the fact that he's just got his first 4 medevacs out, he's just got what, like 2 more have just popped at home. They've just popped out up there. He's just got that when he's hitting max. He didn't have that mobility. And you can see the way he misread the situation. He didn't realize Trap's army was up there. So this was a huge disaster. And at that point, when he saw the army, he should have stimmed to the left. I really do believe that. I think stimming to the right, just because he thinks, well, that's where I need to get to. Realistically, he need to run to the left, try to get through those Zealots, stutter step through them, and maybe pick up and fly south over the high ground. He loses a lot of bio here, man. A lot of bio. And I think there's another one of those moves in the near future, right? Look at the supply is still good for him. Partially because his upgrades suck, but he does have this giant army, and I feel like just split off a double drop and just go around the north of this map, you know, get some small squads out there and start clearing things up and looking for pressure, looking for vision, but instead Trap ends up pulling him around, and during this whole period where Trap's down 20, 30, 40 supply, mostly an army, he's getting further ahead in upgrades towards 3-3. He's taking 6 bases. He's got a Dark Shrine up. He's got double Robos pumping Disruptors to get that next layer of splash damage. So there's this window where Clem being slower on a second starport or extra factories for more tanks or range libs. At the same time, where are his ghosts? Well, he gets a few ghosts out, but he doesn't even get the radius up for the upgrade for them. He doesn't get his 2-2 for ages. So this is a window where Clem has way more army, and he fails to do anything with it for several minutes in a row. And that's where you see Trap coming in, chipping off units, shaving them off, pulling them back. Shaving off units, forcing the tanks to siege, pulling back. And this is something where it's kind of a weakness of siege tanks. They're one of the best defensive units. They're the best siege unit. They're slow, they're immobile, and if you get pinned back like this, it can be a little bit bad for you. You know, he tried it one more time through the middle. Another giant counterattack, by the way. So these are like high risk, high reward. And I think he's killed enough. Just leave. So Clem just got a bit too horny here. He stayed a bit too long. And then he felt like, oh, I'm going to get blinked on if I pick up now. Even there, he could have just ran to the right there. He would have lost a few units, but it would have been fine. So Clem here is just looking for too much. He's just going too deep. And that was such a good disruptor shot. Now, let's look at that from Clem's vision, because I wonder if he even saw it fire. This was a beautiful maneuver from Trap. The way he threw it sideways at first, so sick. Because Clem might not have even had his screen centered to see the disruptor shot launch. So check this out. Let's slow it right down to the slowest speed ever. As he moves north, he does actually see it launch. He just thinks he can get it. Oh, not quite, man. Oh, that hurts. That's so painful. Because if he didn't lose those units, the Stalkers can't blink on him now. Or he'll lose a lot more Stalkers. So that's a pretty bad trade. And then he does it. And then he finally does a tank push. But he's thrown 2 armies away before he does this tank push. This is just not good. Look at the units lost. 2,500 resources, less efficient. Doesn't have a lot of bio here. I actually thought he might just get killed at this point. I actually think Trap maybe could have jumped on that. Because he didn't have any Zealots and Archons, he was a little afraid. Doesn't have a lot of anti-tank damage, right? No Immortals in there. So he's just kind of like, all right, let's play it patient. But when he cleans this army up, he dominates this army. Because, once again, he hasn't reinforced in a while. He's got such a high worker count. Heaps of units in production, a bunch of bio medevac going up to the right and sitting at the rally point, and he gets caught away from his tanks. So a beautiful engagement for Trap, sets up a flank from the left, blinks forward on the right, and this is just perfect play from Trap. Incredible way to close out a rather dominating series. I think Clem played well. It's good he got a point on the board. But right from game one, Trap getting that beautiful set of circumstances, which, let's be honest, is partially luck. It's good build choice, good execution, but partially luck. The way he spotted Clem's 3-racks move out while hitting with an unscouted Dark Templar drop, it was like just an amazing turn of events, and he does end up winning the series from that. GG, well played to Trap. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I've really enjoyed looking over this game. I'm going to go cast the finals now. We'll see you in the next one.